can't stand this image. I can't stand children being excluded. I can't stand an educational system that disconnects children. But there is an answer. Connectedness. I'm Marcel van Herpen. I was the first teacher at the School for Experiential Education in Holland. And I'm co-founder of the Dutch Institute for Education and Educational Matters. In many countries, I work with many children, and I experienced that I'm able to make children happy and to let them develop optimally. And I saw many people can do that. But we have to do better day by day, as long as children drop out of schools, underperform, don't get the chance to do what they can do. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a principal asked me for advice. A girl had been enrolled with a serious set of diagnoses. She had ADHD, she was not good in mathematics, her mother had died, and she didn't want to go to school. What would be your advice? I often confront many teachers with this question, and some of them said that they wouldn't want to have this child in their class, but most of them said that it would be difficult to work with this child. Oh, I can add that this girl is independent and proactive. And there's even a story that this girl, one day, walked with two friends to a garbage dump, and there they constructed a small airplane with crates and planks and other stuff they could find. And under her guidance, the plane really went into the air. Can you believe that? Oh, by the way, I am allowed to show you the pictures. You know this girl? It's a beautiful plane, isn't it? This was the first girl with ADHD we all know, isn't it? And the rest of the case is also right. And at this point, I asked the teachers who had thought of a Pippi-like kind of girl. And almost nobody does. You? Most of them think of a problem child, but she isn't. At the end of the case, I mentioned the qualities of this girl. And for me, that's the metaphor of the current educational system. We look precisely to what children cannot do, but far too little and too late, what they can do. We have a problem in our system because we exclude children. But when I ask more than 100,000 teachers what they wish for their children, they all said something about their well-being. And of course they start talking about the involvement of the children. And they talk all about the good results. But when I ask them what they are worried about, they start talking about the failures, insufficient marks, for instance, and about the disconnections of the children, quarreling, bullying, etc. But when I ask them for the reasons of the problems they experience, they all said something about the minister, the inspector, the principal, the test, the methods, and we call that external attributions. In other words, the reason for the failure is not me, but external factors. And that's not okay for teachers, because then they present themselves as an extension of a system they haven't chosen for. And children recognize that. They hear that, they feel that, and they can't accept you as a full pedagogical guide if you are not fully responsible for the way you act at the moment they need you most. A 4-year-old child said that she did not have a real teacher. And when the mother asked why, she said, because she always says that she will become angry, but I think she can't. 4 years, they look right through you. But then we have a big problem. Because children want to work with you, right as you are, and not as an instruction or a test machine. We have a disastrous problem with our system. Because our system organizes these disconnections. We give students insufficient marks, and teachers are allowed to send students out of the class or even from school. Our system disconnects us. If children don't score the average level for mathematics or language, sometimes they have to leave the classroom and learn it somewhere else. I thought the classroom was meant for that. If children are too restless to sit on their chair the whole day, sometimes they have to leave the classroom and learn it somewhere else. I thought the classroom was meant for that. Teachers are allowed to maintain the system and send students out. In my vision, students are the system. So you come together with the human beings, create a group, a family, who takes care for each other with responsibility for each other, and then you are able to learn. As you know, many tried to ban disconnections. Many manuals and protocols have been written, but almost nothing was successfully not for everybody. But there is an answer: connectedness. And we all know that at the end, at the final end, one single person can destroy a society, your society. So the answer on the question, who you may exclude, is definitely nobody. And connectedness is not a side issue. It's crucial. The consequences of disconnections are well known. If children are disconnected from themselves, they can damage themselves. If children are disconnected from others, they can damage others. If children are disconnected from the world, they can damage the world. And if teachers are disconnected, they can damage children. Much is needed to create good relationships, and almost nothing is needed to destroy them. What has been disconnected should be reconnected. Connectedness is the answer. And there is a perspective. And there is an approved strategy. And it only takes 5 seconds. Are you ready? First, think of the disconnections in your organization. Excluding, dropping out, insufficient marks, quarreling, bullying. Think about your students, the children, their parents, your colleagues, your disconnections. And then comes the strategy. 5 seconds. Make the decision that you stop these disconnections now. For instance, no children are sent out of the class from now on. 5 seconds. That's easy. Isn't it? But you don't look relieved. In my experience, many teachers and principals are disturbed for a while. Because from now on, you have to face your own problems. From now on, you can't use your external attributions. From now on, you have to realize that you are the possibility to change others. From now on, you can't point at the intelligence, the background, and the behavior of a child, but you have to look at your own behavior, your frustrations, your fears, your judgments, your life, you as a human being. And of course, you need colleagues who are open and available. But there's one person who can realize that. And again, it's you. If you are open and vulnerable, your colleagues, you give your colleagues the possibility to be open also. And to work day by day together with more tact, pedagogical tact, in the meaning of doing the right thing at the right moment, also in the eyes of the children. A principal who followed the course, Pedagogical Tact and Leadership, in our institute, was very enthusiastic about these insights. He went into the classes and talked with the children about their disconnections. And he was shocked. The children told him, the teachers, and the other students painful stories that were not all known. In the break, a child came to him and said, I did not dare to tell in the classroom that 2 years ago, during a school trip, I was alone all day. No child was with me, no teacher who missed me. And the principal immediately called the whole school together, told this story and said, soon we go again, but this time not with 359 plus 1, but 360. And you all are responsible, that no one feels excluded. And you can guess the rest. Because of this single boy, everybody was taken seriously. And of course, it became a beautiful day. And you know that you can't copy these stories. And you know that it takes a lot of courage to do this. But that's exactly what we need. That's what I ask of you, and that's what I wish you and all your children.